Hello students, welcome back. This is Ms. Mercado once again. We are continuing to cover chapter 4. This short video is going to help you with your homework 4B. We are using the textbook Payroll Accounting, the 2020th edition. And this is Accounting 1329, Payroll and Business Tax Accounting. Now I went over the list of problems that you're going to be working on for this particular week. And I selected one problem that is fairly long. It requests or asks students to complete a variety of different forms. So I thought that this was a good problem for me to cover. That way you all can have an understanding on how to complete the different forms. Okay? It is very important that you read the chapter. It is very important that you read the instructions of each of the questions that you're having. Okay? So for today, I'm going to jump right into the problem. I do have it in a Word document because there are forms. If I transferred the forms over to Excel, it was getting distorted. So I decided just to keep the forms in a Word document, and then I'll be going back and forth to Excel if I need to. Okay? So let's get started with the problem that you're going to be seeing in your homework. This is problem 412. Okay? So this problem reads, during the fourth quarter of 20 blank, there were 7 bi-weekly paydays on Friday. Okay, we had those paydays on October the 4th, the 18th, on November the 1st, the 15th, and the 29th, and on December 13th and the 27th for quality repairs. Using the forms supplied below, complete the following forms for the fourth quarter. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Here we go. It says, if an amount or input box does not require an entry, leave it blank or enter a 0. So we are provided with information here. We have a total of 5 employees and they made $18,750. We have the OASDI of $1162.50, HI $271.88, federal income tax of $18.75, and state income tax of $1312.50. Okay. We also have the employer's portion of OASDI, which is the same amount, the $1162.50. The employer's HI, which is $271.88, and we have a federal deposit liability for each pay period of $677.68. Okay, so they're asking us to complete the federal deposit information worksheet reflecting electronic deposits, and they're telling us here that we are a monthly depositor. Okay, we are a monthly depositor. Okay, federal deposit liability each pay period is $677.68. And we have to complete the forms for the 3 months, October, November, and December. We are dealing with the fourth quarter, which is the last quarter of the year. Okay, now before I start filling out the form, I'm going to go back. And we're going to go over some information here. Okay, so it says here that at the end of every year, the IRS provides a notice to each of the employers whose deposit schedules will change for the upcoming year. So the IRS lets the organizations or the companies know their deposit requirements. Okay, the requirements for depositing FICA taxes and income taxes withheld from the employee's wages vary according to the amount of such taxes reported during the look-back period. Okay, so depending on the total amount of taxes involved, employers might have to pay their taxes several times a month or monthly. Some employers may not have to make any deposits, but instead make their part taxes at the time of filing their quarterly return, Form 941. Okay, so in this particular problem, they told us that we were monthly depositors. Okay, so we're monthly depositors. So we fall under this category. No fail. So, we fall under this category. We're monthly depositors. This is whoever reported $50,000 or less in the look-back period. And we are required to make deposits by the 15th of the following month. If not a banking day, then the next banking day. So if it falls on a weekend, the 15th falls on a Saturday and a Sunday, they allow you to submit payments to the following business day or banking day. Okay, so these are just a variety of schedules that we have. I'm focusing on the monthly depositor because that is what our problem is dealing with. So for monthly depositors, we have to make the payment by the 15th of the following month. Okay. So the form, the Federal Deposit Information Worksheet form is already mostly all of it is populated. We just have to complete a couple of boxes here. So let's start with the form right here. So it's asking us what type of tax or form are we doing? We are doing the 941. Okay. We are doing the 941. Now they're asking you, what is the amount of the deposit? Okay. Let me insert a little text box here so we can know what we're doing. Text box. Okay, so I'm going to draw a text box here. Okay, so it says here that we are doing or we're completing the federal deposit liability for every month. This is going to be our first month, which is October. Okay. In October, we had 2 pay periods, on October 4th and October 18th. And we know that our federal deposit for each pay period is $677.68. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the $677.68 and we're going to multiply it, we're going to multiply it by 2 pay periods. And let's see what that gives us. Get the calculator. So we have 677.68 times 2. That's going to give me $1355.36. That is the amount of the deposit that I need to make. $1355.36. Okay. So it's your federal deposit liability for each pay period times the number of pay periods you had in the month of October. You had 2. So you multiply those and you get the $1355.36. Okay. So that is for October. We're going to do the same thing for November. Okay. Let me enter another text box. Okay. So once again, the form is going to be form 941. Okay. And we're going to calculate the amount of the deposit. So we know that our deposit for each pay period is $677.68. We're going to multiply it by the number of payroll periods in November. In November, we had 3 payroll periods, on the 1st, the 15th, and the 29th. So I'm going to multiply by 3 payroll periods. And let's see what that gets us. 677.68 times 3. That's going to give me $2,033.04. Sorry. $20.33.04. That is the amount that I have to deposit for the month of November. Okay. So now we're doing December. Let's do another text box right here. Okay. So once again, my tax form is going to be 941. The amount of my deposit. Well, I know that every pay period, the amount of my liability is $677.68. So it'll be $677.68. And we need to figure out how many pay periods we had in December. And in December, we had 2 pay periods. Okay. Let me get another color. Okay. So we had 2 pay periods in December. So I'm going to multiply that by 2 pay periods. Okay. And then that's going to give us 677.68 times 2, 1355 36. 1355 36. 1355 36. Okay, that is the amount that's going to go here. Okay, so now we're still forgetting one thing, which is when are we going to report this? That we need to fill that out. To be reported when? Okay, so that's one more component that we have to complete. So if we look back over here, it says here that the employers may have to pay their taxes several times a month or monthly. Some employers may not have to make any deposits till the end of the year. Okay. Here we go. The monthly depositor. The required deposits are to be submitted by the 15th of the following month. Okay, the following month. So, let's do the first one. Okay, to be deposited on or before. Okay. So this is going to be the month after. So it'll be November 15, 2020. Okay. Now the second one is going to be, we're doing it for November, so that means that we're going to submit the month following on the 15th. So it'll be December 15, 2020. So it's 1 month after it closes, and it has to be on the 15th unless it's a holiday, or I'm sorry, or a holiday or a weekend. Then you have to wait for the next business day. Okay. The last one we have is December's. The one for December is going to be due on January 15, 2020. So we're basically remitting payment 1 month after we close our books, or we close our information here. Okay, so you have, it's going to be the month following. Okay, just like it says here. Required deposits are at the month following. If not a banking day, the next banking day. Okay? Very important. Okay. So these are the first 3 forms that we have to prepare. Then we're going to move on to completing a 941. Same problem. So, it says, Employer's Quarterly Federal Tax Return Form 941. The form is signed by you as the President on January the 31st. Hint, line 7 instructions. Fill in Form 941 through line 6, and then fill in Part 2, line 16, or Schedule B. Take the information and fill in line 13. Line 12 and 13 must be equal. If the amounts are not the same, correct by entering the amount to make equal on line 7. Line 7 differences are caused by how the calculations are made on Form 941 and the amounts withheld from the employee's earnings plus the employer's payroll tax amounts each day it's paid. Okay, so we're going to be completing Form 941. Okay, on the top section, most of the information is already pre-filled out for you. When you're in Cengage, you're going to have the option here to select the quarter. Okay, I'm going to delete this and I'm going to actually enter the quarter. This is the quarter, the 4th quarter. October, November, and December. Okay, that's about the only part that you have to fill out in this particular section. Everything else is populated for you. Okay. Now we're moving on to part 1 of the form. Okay. So it says, what are the number of employees who receive wages, tips, or other compensation for pay period including March 12th, March 12th, March 12th, June 12th, September 12th, and December 12th. Okay. So, let's go to the problem and let's find out how many employees we have. The problem says we have 5 employees. Okay, so we have 5 employees. So we're going to put that 5 in our form. Okay. I'm sorry, we're going to put that in our form. Right here. 5 employees. Then they're asking us for wages, tips, and other compensation. Wages, tips, and other compensation. So, how are we going to calculate our wages, tips, and other compensation? Well, that is provided to you. Okay? Right here. It said these employees made $18,750. Okay, so it's just a matter of looking for the information in the problem. Okay, so we're going to go back and we're going to enter the $18,750. Then they're asking us for the federal income tax withheld. Okay, so let's go back, and here we have our federal income tax withheld, $18.75. Okay, so that number is going to go into our federal income tax information. Where did I do this? Oh, down here. So, we're going to put the $18.75 for the federal income tax withheld. Okay. Now we're going to start working with our taxable Social Security wages. How much of the $18,750 that we made are taxable for Social Security purposes? Well, all of it is taxable. So I'm going to enter the $18,750 right here. And I'm going to multiply it by the 0.124. And we're going to multiply it by the rate right there, which is 0.124. And that's going to give me $23.25. Social Security tips, we didn't have any tips. We're going to leave that blank. Taxable Medicare wages and tips, that one was provided. We had wages of $18,750. Okay. And then we're going to multiply it times the rate. The $18,750 times the rate of 0.029. Sorry. So it's $18,750 times 0.029, $543.75. Okay. Then we have taxable wages and tips subject to additional Medicare and withholding. We don't have any of that. Okay. So we've already completed part 1 of the form. We start with how many employees you have that receive wages from you, any wages, tips, or other compensation that you received, any federal income tax withheld from your paycheck, and then we calculate at the bottom your Medicare tax and your Social Security. Okay. So we're going to continue. It says add columns 2 from line 5A, 5B, and 5C. So this is line 5A. So it says add columns 2 right here, column 2. So they're telling us to look here, column 2. Okay. Okay, so we're looking at column 2, and it says at lines 5A, 5B, 5C, and 5D. So we only had 2 numbers there. We're going to add them together. 5 and 543.75. That gives you 2868.75. $28.68.75. Okay. Section 3121. Notice and demand tax due on unreported tips. Okay. So we haven't paid our. It says here section tax due on unreported tips. We didn't have any tips reference here, so that really doesn't apply to us in the particular problem. So I'm going to put a 0. Number 6, total taxes before adjustments. You're going to add line 3, 5E, and 5F. Okay. So we're going to do total taxes before adjustments. Okay. Okay. So we have total taxes before adjustments. We're going to add line 3, which is 1875. We're going to add line 5E, which is 2868.75. And we have one more, 5F. Okay. We have $0. So the amount we have is $47.43.75. $47.43.75. Now we have our current quarter adjustment. Okay? Current quarter adjustments for fractions of cents. Okay? Number 7. Current quarter adjustments for fractions of cents. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the amount. Let me do a little text box here. Okay. So we have our monthly deposit amount of $677.68. We're going to get that number, 677.68, and we're going to multiply it times the number of pay periods in the 4th quarter. So we have 2 plus 3 is 5 plus 2 is 7. So we have 7 pay periods. Okay. So as you can see, it's a lot of going back and forth to read the information. Okay. So here, what we're going to do is, I'm just going to outline it on the side, that way you don't forget. I got the 677.68. I multiply it by the 7 pay periods. What does that give me? That is going to give me 47.43.76. Okay. Okay. Now we look at the 941, which is what we're preparing. And we're going to look at line 6. Okay. Line 6 is the total taxes before adjustments. Okay, so we're getting our line 6, which is equal to 4743.75. So based on this information, so we have the 4743.75. Now what we're going to do is we're going to subtract these two. So what is 4743.76 minus 4743.75? We're off a penny. That is going to be your adjustment for fractions of cents. Okay? It's going to be 1 cent. Let me put an underline here. That way we know that we subtracted and the answer is 1 centavito, 1 cent. And that is going to be the amount of your adjustment. Number 8 deals with current quarter's adjustments for sick pay. That does not apply for us. Number 9, current quarter's adjustments for tips and group term life insurance. That one we're going to leave it blank. We don't have any of that information. Next we have total taxes after adjustments. Okay, right here, line number 10. Total taxes after adjustments. Combine line 6 through 9. Okay, so we're going to combine line 6 through 9. We only have 2 numbers, so let's see what that gives us. 6 to 9. 4743.75 plus, it says here, combine lines 6 through 9. We have 1 more for a penny. So that'll be 4743.76. Okay. That is going to be line number 10. Okay. It will be 4743.75. Qualified small business payroll tax credit for increasing research activities. That does not apply in this problem. We were not provided with any of that information. Next we have total taxes after adjustments and credits. Total taxes after adjustments and credits. And it says here, we're going to subtract line 11 from 10. Okay? So let's get our calculator out. We're going to subtract 11 from 10. 11 has a 0. 10 has 743.75. Number 12. Subtract 11 from 10. Let me see. So many boxes, I'm getting confused. Let me see. 5E, I have 2868.75. We have 4743.75. We have our 1 cent adjustment. 8 and 9 are blank. 10 is 40. Okay, this one's incorrect. Combine line 6 through 9. 6 through 9, and that would be 4743.76. Okay, and then number 11, we didn't have anything. Number 12, subtract 11 from 10. Okay, 11 from 10. So that's going to give us 4743.76. Number 13, total deposits for this quarter, including overpayment applied from the prior quarter and overpayments applied from Form 941X, 941XPR, 944X, 944 XP. Filled in the current quarter. Okay. Where is my mouse? Right here. Okay. So, total deposits for this quarter. So the total deposits that we did is right here calculated. We had $767.68 times 7 pay periods. So we went ahead and those were the taxes made of $47.43.76. Okay. Number 12. No, I'm sorry. Number 14. Balance due. If line item 12 is more than line 13, enter the difference and see the instructions. Okay? So if line 12 is more than line 13, line 12 and line 13 are the same, so that doesn't apply to us. So they're just asking us to please stay calm in this particular problem. Okay, so we're going to have the balance due. If line 12 is more than 13, enter the difference. Okay? If line 12 is more than line 13, enter the difference. We don't have a difference. It's going to be 0. Okay? So, all of these particular line items have for the majority exactly what you need to do. What line items to add, subtract, whatever the case may be. The issue here is to take it slow and make sure that we're reading the instructions carefully. Okay? Number 15. Okay, overpayments. No, we didn't have any overpayments, so that's going to be left blank, or you can enter a 0. Okay. Now we get to part 2. Okay. It says here, if you are unsure about whether you are a monthly scheduled depositor or a semi-weekly scheduled depositor, it says here to see section 11 of the publication 15. Okay. So now, part 2. Let me see, where did I leave my pen? I have it right now. I seem to have misplaced my pen. I was writing with it. Let me see. Just bear with me for a little minute here while I locate a pen. It disappeared from the top of my desk. Okay, I found it. It had fallen to the floor. Okay, so now, part 2. Okay, we know that we are a monthly depositor. That's what the problem says. Okay, so they're asking us here for part number 2. Let me see. They're asking you to check 1. Okay, it says line 12 on this return is less than 2,500. So let's look at line 12. Okay, line 12. Is it less than 2,500? No, it is not. Okay. Or line 12 on the return for the prior quarter was less than 25. Okay. And you didn't incur a 100,000 next day deposit obligation during the current quarter. This doesn't apply to us because line 12 is greater than the 2,500. Now, letter B. You were a monthly scheduled depositor, which we were. We were provided that information. Okay. Let me scoot that to a brand new page. That way I can make it big. Okay. Let me see. Okay, right here. So here we're doing part 2. Okay, that way it's all together. Okay. So we are B. We are a monthly scheduled depositor. Okay. So you're gonna have to select it. Make sure that you choose the option, okay? So I'm going to be letter B, okay? For a monthly depositor, okay? Now we have to figure out our tax liability for month 1, month 2, and month 3. And we've already calculated that up here, okay? Over here. So we already calculated for October, the amount of our deposit was $1,355.36, and we got that by multiplying the $677.68 times the 2 pay periods. For November, it's $2,033.04. Okay, that's because we have 3 pay periods. And then for December, we're back to 1355.36, and this is how we calculate it. So we're basically going to copy and paste those three numbers down in the form, okay? Down here. So we're going to do our information here. We're going to plug it in based on what we did up in the top. So we have 1355.36. We've got 20.3304, and we have 1355.36. And we're gonna add those together, and let's see what we get. 1355.36. Oh my God, my numbers are off. 1355.36 plus 20.3304 plus 1355.36. That is going to give me 47.43.76. Excuse me. So I'm going to put that in there. 47.43.76. Now, read. The total must equal line 12. We need to verify that this number, right there, that number equals to line 12. So let's look in that line 12. 47.43.76. And then we have 47.43.76. And we're good to go. Okay. Now, part 3. Tell us about your business. Okay. If a question does not apply to your business, leave it blank. If your business has closed or you stopped paying wages, check here. Okay. And enter the final date. That does not apply to us. We're still in business. So then we're going to skip that part. It tells us to leave it blank. So part 3 does not apply to us. Part 4. May we speak with your third party designee? Okay, no, we don't want you talking to anybody. Okay, so we've selected a no. Okay. Part 5. Okay, this is where it's going to have your signature and all of that good stuff. Okay, whoever is preparing the form needs to sign the information. Okay, so you're going to sign your name here in the student section. So you're going to sign your name. I'm going to sign my name. Okay. You're going to print your name on the side. Okay. This is what you would do when you actually complete the form. Okay. What is your title? Well, I'm the president for the company. We need to fill out the date. Okay. Now let me go back to my Excel. Okay. When we're filing Form 941, which is what we're completed, the law requires employers to file Form 941 on or before the last day of the month following the close of the calendar quarter for which the return applies. So when we're doing Form 941, we have basically 1 month. We have to submit this by the last day of the month following the close of the quarter. Okay, so we are closing the quarter in December. It's October, November, and December, the fourth quarter. So I need to remit my 941 by the end of January. Okay, that is very, very important. You need to know when are you supposed to be remitting your payments. Okay, so that is very important. Make sure that you go back and you read your textbook. This information for both the deposit requirements and the 941 is coming from Chapter 3. So make sure that you do read Chapter 3 carefully and you understand and you can refer back to it. Okay? So that is basically everything that needs to be filled out on your part. Your phone number, your title, your name, and the date that you are completing the form. Okay? And then the bottom is filled out by the preparer use only. Okay? Now, we also have to complete for letter C, the employer's report of state income tax withheld for the quarter. And this is due on or before January the 31st. Okay. So, here we're going to go ahead and this is for state income tax purposes. They're asking you, what is your gross payroll for the period? Well, if I go back to my problem, okay, it says here that my payroll is $18,750. Okay, so that is the amount I'm going to enter. Okay, 18,750. Okay, state income tax withheld. Is that provided? I don't remember. Let's see. State income tax repair. Yes, right here. Okay. State income tax is right there. So that will be $13,1250. Okay. Okay, right there. $13,1250. Okay. Then we have any adjustments from the prior periods. We were not provided with any adjustments. That's going to be 0. Box number 4. Total adjusted tax, line 2 plus or minus line 3. 2 plus or minus line 3. So we're going to leave line 4 as $13,1250. Okay. Number 5. Okay. Any penalties? The problem doesn't mention anything about penalties. Those are going to be 0. How about any interest? No interest is due at the time. So how much are we needing to pay our state income tax for? Well, it's the $13,1250. That is what we must remit in payment for state income tax purposes. Okay. So that is the end of this pretty long problem. Okay, in this problem, you're going to do the federal deposit information worksheets. When you're done with that, you're going to move to completing the 941. And you've already have experience doing this in your prior homework, so you're going to complete a 941. And then after you complete a 941, all of this is 941, you're going to complete the employer's report of state income tax withheld. Okay. A lot of information is provided. The key is always to refer back to the information in the problem. Highlight it. Mark it, do whatever you need to do to know the numbers that you need and will be using. Okay. So, this is a completed problem. Please, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Okay. It is very important that we read the chapter when you're doing your homework in Cengage. Some of the problems in Cengage have short video tutorials. Please view and listen to those short tutorials. Read. And if you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out to me. Just make sure that you provide me with your name and how your calculations are going. I want to see your calculations so I can be able to provide guidance and feedback. I'm not just simply going to give you the answer. Okay? So that is it for you for today. Make sure that all of you complete homework 4B and quiz 4B by the established deadlines. Okay? So that would be it for today. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.